All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris from New York, Westchester County. It's 2/1, 2023. I'm in Poughkeepsie, New York, right now, on call, and not a place I would want to conduct any any experiments at all. But I wanted to share something with you. There's some nice areas of Poughkeepsie. Don't get me wrong, but when you go into the middle of town. See, now, I used to work up here, and for years I would go up and down Main Street getting lunch, and not really worrying about my life, you know? Today, I had to go up to the bank, which is smack in the middle of Poughkeepsie, to get some dinero, and I didn't feel comfortable. It's like going to a conference with flat earthers. We're all on the same level. You get this feeling of welcomeness, shall we say. For the first time up here, I drove through town and I did not feel comfortable. People were fighting over there, people were arguing over here. They were not gangs, but just pockets of a bunch of people just in front of like bodegas and stuff. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't have that friendly vibe, shall we say. It's your instincts, you shouldn't be somewhere when you're there. So get the fuck out. So that's what I did. I'm in another part of Poughkeepsie, which is a bit saner, shall we say. Anyway, now anybody who lives in Poughkeepsie, remember, there are some beautiful areas in this area, but it's just you go into town and it's worse than Newburgh, and I'm sure you probably know a couple things about Newburgh. Yeah, I used to work there too, and right now it's a fucking war zone. I wouldn't even go through it anymore, especially on Main Street right down there. Anyway, I don't know how to fucking get sidetracked with this. Oh, okay, I want to get back to the experiment that I did, which I'm going to have to redo, of course, because I had no time at all over the weekend, and the only time that I could find is right when the sun was going away from you, and I was trying to hurry up and get everything going, and I was in the right spot, but I put the fucking moon on a tree, and I couldn't find it, okay? So I couldn't focus my camera onto it. But you see, that's my point. Okay, listen to me. If we shrunk down the moon to about the size of a basketball, all right, if you do the math, it would be approximately 450 feet away from us. Okay, all right, so simple. You just take the moon that I had, which was a child's toy, and you put it somewhere. Put it on a fucking tree. Put it on a tree stump. Have somebody hold it, for crying out loud. You should be able to see it. Now, say you do find it, which you will. Zoom in your camera, just like you would zoom in your camera at the moon in the sky, and tell me if you see the definition, because that little toy that I have has got all the craters on it, it's got the starbursts, it's got all the stuff on it that you should be able to see with the camera. But my proof to you guys was that you can't get that definition with a toy 450 feet away, when that's exactly how far away it is when it's 240,000 miles away, being brought down to scale to the size of a basketball. Okay, so I'm going to redo that, and I'll show it to you at some other time. I have to find... See, the problem where I am, there's no good parking lot that I can go in that I'm not going to be disturbed. And it's got to be during the daytime. And a helper would be good, but of course I can't get anybody to conduct the experiment with. But anyway, more on that. Maybe I can get away this weekend. I don't know. It's going to be really chilly this weekend. It's actually finally going down to regular weather that it should be. But then the following week, it's going to be back up to 45, 50 degrees. Okay. I have a theory about all the illegals that are coming here and the weather, but that'll be on another video. So anyway, that's what the experiment was all about. And I was going to talk about something. Now you do that, and also I wanted you to think about the illumination of the moon. Okay, if there were people that actually landed on the moon, and the brightness of the moon would wash out any pictures. So forget about that, because you look at the moon, it's a full moon, it's this bright object in the sky. Now think about when you're actually on it. All of the pictures that you see of the astronauts on there are a dim gray color. Why is that? Oh, that's the exposure. Oh, is that the exposure that they could fuck around with so we could also see the stars in the background? Oh, that's right. So they did a lower exposure, so you can't see the stars because of that. That's such bullshit. You'd be fried if you were on the moon, okay? with the radiation coming from the sun, the fact that there's no atmosphere right there, the way that the reflection off of the sun from the moon is incredible. You'd have to have, you would be fried. Anyway, well, we all know that's bullshit, and we're trying to figure out what the fuck the sun is and what the hell the moon is. What exactly is it? I mean, I know it's not a tangible object. I know the sun is not a tangible object either. And how's that? I don't know. The probe we sent to the sun, is that? Did it explode there? Did it go into the sun? Oh, that's right, because I don't see any videos of the sun getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I also don't see any videos of the moon getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the Chinese have a rover on the other side of the dark side of the moon. Why would you put a rover there? Why not just go up to the Apollo 11 site and say, "Fuck you, Americans, we got here too"? Nah, why would you do that? Because it doesn't exist. They can't do it. Going to Mars? This is one thing I was trying to figure out. How could they possibly, if we lived in a solar system, if Mars actually was a tangible object and you can land on it, and it's not this amazing light show that you see, say that's all real. Okay, so how are you going to get to Mars? How much fuel does it need to get to Mars? Okay, any scientific person out there, can you tell me how much fuel it takes to get to Mars? And then where are you going to fuel up? You're going to dig down when you get to Mars, and you're going to find fuel down there, or hydrogen. That's what it might be. It might be hydrogen ice. That's right, I forgot about that. If you heat up ice in space, and how do you make a flame in space? But don't worry, the scientists know how to do that. You can create a gas, just enough gas to push the ship all the way back to Earth, right? Oh, and how do you maneuver it? Where's the joystick? Where are you maneuvering this fucking thing? What are you pushing off of to maneuver something? You're in space. There's nothing to push off of. At least in water, when you're in a submarine, you can push off of the friction of the water. But in space, you can't push off of anything. You're just free falling. You're in space. See, nobody thinks about this shit. They don't think about it. So anyway, I was trying to figure it out. So what they would do, this is how long it would take, okay? So they're gonna just go with this for years and years until you fucking die, and then you're gonna forget about it because you'll be in a fucking nursing home somewhere, and then you won't even know anymore. Every day will be new. Anyway, so I was trying to figure out. So they would have to get all the fuel up to the atmosphere. Okay, so where they would store the fuel to get to Mars. Okay, so they would take the capsule and they would launch it off, and then they would get into the where the fuel is. Of course, in the gravitational pull of the Earth. Just like everything, where all the satellites are and all that stuff, right? And so you would keep all the fuel there. So now you're going to fuel up here at Earth. Okay. But wait a minute, how do you fuel up at Mars? Oh, I have a good idea. Why don't you do this? So take another capsule, go to Mars, okay, travel to Mars. Does it take 6 months to get there or something like that? And then put the fuel that it would take to get back to Earth and leave that, just there in space, right by that imaginary ball that's there. So now you're set up. Okay, so now you have a fuel station outside of Earth to fill up, and now you've got a fuel station outside of Mars to fill up, to come back to Earth. That's the only way you could possibly do it, right? I think so. I think that might work. Maybe I should contact NASA. That's right, that's beautiful. Because there's no way you'd have enough fuel to get back without fueling up in Mars. And there's nothing on Mars that you fuel up with, right? So that would take, if we were even able to do it, I would say that would take 20 years of planning, easy. You'd already be 70, 80 years old. You're not going anywhere. You never will go anywhere. They won't even go to the moon because it doesn't exist. They can't show you stars. They can't do anything anymore except reinstitutionalizing you to think that you live on a spinning wet ball. Foolish people. I thank you for subbing. I thank you for viewing my videos. Let me be a part of your life.